The new anime season is here, and oh man, what a great time to be an anime fan. Coming back from a really slow summer season, this fall season has everything. You like vampires? Here are 3 different shows. Mecha shows? There are like 10, and surprisingly, 2 of them are actually good. We got horror comedy, isekais, a competitor to X-Arms, and a bit of culture to enjoy. Let's go! This season brings back some strong returning animes in the second part of Jobless Reincarnation, this time with furries. The second season of Demon Slayer started strong with an incredible prologue to the Infinite Train arc, but now we have to wait 6 weeks for something new. The second season of Restaurant in Another World is the perfect slice of life for a food lover. And 86 is coming back at full speed. No, seriously, I feel like I'm skipping something. In 3 episodes they went from lab rats to normal people to soldiers to commanders. But the real deal comes from the new animes for this season. On the vampire side of things, we have a comedy in The Vampire Dies in No Time. That is basically just a light-hearted take on vampire hunting as a mainstream job in the modern world, with a vampire that dies literally to anything. And the best mascot ever created. I mean, look at him. Oh my god, he's cosplaying as a vampire hunter. Just tell me where I can buy one of these armadillo plushes. And on the drama side, we got The Moon, Laika and Nosferatu, following Russian efforts to bring a man into the moon using a vampire as an animal test subject. This has a level of depth that is refreshing to see, and the cuteness is always a plus for this type of shows. Moving on, we have a bunch of new fantasy and isekai animes. First, banished from the hero party, I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside, which is basically as the title implies. Just one guy having a slow life with a girl. It is not exactly an action-packed show, but the animation has a high quality to it. With a story moving from behind the scenes, while it is too early to call, I think it will get interesting in the next few episodes. On the trashy side of isekai, we got the gorilla lover himself. The Fruit of Evolution, that has gamified vision of the isekai world with the usual rom-com dynamic and a bit of a generic fantasy world. But the waifus are cute though. Another trashy isekai is The World's Finest Assassin Gets Reincarnated. I know this is also like kind of in the generic side, but so far the story and the world building has impressed me. With a similar feel to Spirit Chronicles and with the set goal of killing the hero, I think this is an anime worth watching. But so far, the best isekai that we had this season has to be The Faraway Paladin. With a high quality animation and an interesting story following a guy reincarnated as a baby and growing up with undead monsters as parents, this has to be yet another hit for the isekai genre. And while the story hasn't moved out yet from these training days, the few things that we have learned about the world and the world building just present us with an overall high tier story that will be remembered in the future. Moving on, if you're into historical dramas, Heike Monogatari has this beautiful old style animation that you don't see too often, following the rise and fall of the Taira clan during the rebellion of the 12th century Japan. But if you're into something more light-hearted, Taisho Otome Fairy Tale is perfect for you. Following a young man from a rich family cast out into the mountains after an accident left his arm paralyzed. He is taken care of by his new wife, a cute girl that helps brighten him as depression is taking over. Expect extra cute things from this hard-working young girl. Talking about hard-working young girls, Miroku-chan is the perfect combination of comedy and horror that you didn't know you needed. What would you do if suddenly you could see ghosts? Well, clearly not this, as our main protagonist pretends not to see them while being scared for her life, which gives us both good scares and laughs. But the real champion of the best girl of the season has to be Komi. Can't communicate. This show just caught me in the first episode. A lovable story with lovable characters. One of the coolest edits I have seen in a while, and an overall just the perfect combination of romance and comedy. Now I understand why everyone was so hyped about this show when it got announced. Following a girl who has a communication disorder as she attempts to make 100 friends with the most peculiar classmates you will ever find. Classical music, fighting monsters, and a road trip across the US. What else could you ask for? Tact OP Destiny so far has impressed me, with some high quality fighting scenes and one of the best music scores I have ever heard. Mostly relying on classical music, it is proving to be one of the best animes of the season. But I think it's still too early to call, since I feel it needs to have a good plot twist or an ending for the monsters, and I see it many ways how it could go wrong. Okay guys, we got a really cool franchise that wants to make an anime adaptation out of his light novels. We could start with the first story about a typical school romance, or maybe the second story where the main guy gets transported to another world with aliens and giant robots. Nah, how about we start with the sequel where the guy goes back in time and tries to fix everything? Well, that sounds like a great idea to me. Move Love Alternative started as a great story with a bit of gore, decent animation to the monsters and mechs, and an overall compelling story. But then they start talking about other timelines, events that happen, characters that don't even appear on the story, and so on. Which made me realize that there was a game that had 2 full-length stories before this adaptation, and it was just a shame to promote the visual novels on Steam. You know, the usual. Okay, I guess at least we could enjoy a shonen about a father and a daughter fighting monsters in a giant robot. That's why we can't have nice things. Sakugan feels really nice. While the CGI monsters look a bit bad, it is compensated with the better quality robots, the great chemistry between father and daughter, and the overall story about a girl trying to go to One Piece. Wait, where was she trying to go to for? Who wants to do a full battle royale deathmatch? How about you? Are you in? Robotman? Okay, we got everyone. Platinum Man is the edgiest, trashiest show I have seen in a while. About 13 people given wings and glowing arrows to fight in the ultimate deathmatch to decide the next god. Wait, I feel like I've seen this plot before. I'm not sure where. Anyway, so far the story looks interesting, but the characters feel a bit bland and lacking in depth, which is a bit depressing, coming from the same people that work on the original Death Note. But maybe I'm being too hard on them. Let's see where it goes. But you know who is not getting hard? World End Harem is yet another anime to join the ranks of I cannot believe this is not hentai. Following a virus that kills the male population, people with a specific disease got saved and cured while in hibernation, and it is their job to repopulate the world by having sex with as many women as they can. But of course, our main protagonist is a simp that wants to save himself for the girl that he loves. Bro, I'm sure you have nice intentions, but this is the end of the world. You cannot be acting selfishly like that. Now go on and have sex with as many women as you can. Have you ever felt lost in life not knowing what to do? Well, if so, Blue Period is just for you. Following a high schooler who just goes in life having fun with friends, drinking and smoking without deciding what to do in his future, he discovers a painting that changes his life. He gets absorbed into art, thinking that if he has to leave, at least he can do something that he likes. This show really hits different. Some of the lines said are one of the deepest I have felt, teaching us that life will not always reward your effort and being you won't always bring you happiness, but it is who you decided to live as, so keep moving forward and finding yourself. But enough of that, I know what you're all here for, the best anime of the season. You know it can only go to the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, Mute King himself. No, I'm not talking about that Mute King, I'm talking about this Mute King. Ranking of Kings caught me by surprise. I really wasn't expecting anything from it, but it came out as a hidden gem that is in track to become a classic. Following Boji, a mute, deaf and weak prince that wants to become the best king in the world, this show checks all the boxes for a masterpiece. It has the Ghibli old school animation feeling to it, a lovable main protagonist with an interesting sidekick, an interesting world building with the ranking of kings. And so far, the action scenes shown really fluid movements not only in the fighting sequences, but also when using actual sign language to communicate. And while looking like a kid's anime on the outside, the depth of the story, the emotions shown, and the overall anime seems to fit for everyone, from young to old, male and female, and basically just anybody who enjoys a good show. And let's be honest, when you see this guy, you can't help but root for him. This season is looking to have more than a few bangers, and I'm all for it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.